Pope Francis is often called the Pope of the Poor, and for good reason. From the moment he was elected to the papacy in 2013, he made it clear that one of his main priorities would be to advocate for the poor, the marginalized, and the suffering people of the world. But what is it about Pope Francis that makes him such a passionate voice for the voiceless? Pope Francis' commitment to the poor stems from his deep understanding of the gospel. Throughout his ministry, he has constantly reminded the Church that Jesus Christ had a special love for the poor and the oppressed. In the Gospel of Luke, Jesus declares, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to bring glad tidings to the poor." Luke 4 verse 18. Pope Francis sees this not only as a message of spiritual salvation but as a call to action for the Church to reach out to those in need, both materially and spiritually. One of the central themes of Pope Francis' papacy is the concept of a church for the poor. This means that the Church should not just be a place for the wealthy or the comfortable but should serve as a refuge for everyone, especially those who are excluded or forgotten. He has often spoken about the growing inequality in the world and has urged governments, businesses, and individuals to care for the poor, the homeless, and the sick. He has decried the indifference that so often surrounds the most vulnerable in society and has called for a culture of encounter, where we do not ignore the poor but embrace them. In his apostolic exhortation Evangelii Gaudium, Pope Francis writes, "I prefer a church which is bruised, hurting and dirty because it has been out on the streets, rather than a church which is unhealthy from being confined and from clinging to its own security." This reflects his belief that the Church must go beyond its walls and engage with the world, especially with those who are suffering. For Pope Francis, the Church's mission is not to retreat into comfort, but to be on the front lines of social justice, advocating for the dignity of all people, especially the most marginalized. Pope Francis has also been a strong advocate for migrants and refugees. He has frequently spoken out against the treatment of refugees, urging nations to open their hearts and borders to those fleeing war, violence, and poverty. He has visited refugee camps, washed the feet of migrants, and called on the international community to ensure that migrants are treated with dignity and respect. His message is clear: no one should be left behind. In addition to his advocacy, Pope Francis has taken concrete steps to support the poor. He established the Peter's Pence Collection, which helps fund charitable initiatives around the world, particularly for the needy. He has also made personal donations to those suffering from poverty, and his outreach to the homeless in Rome has become a hallmark of his papacy. Pope Francis does not just talk about helping the poor, he lives it. Furthermore, Pope Francis' commitment to the poor is deeply rooted in his emphasis on social justice and care for the environment. He believes that the plight of the poor is often connected to the environmental crisis. In his encyclical Laudato Si', he calls for a global response to climate change, emphasizing that the poor are often the ones most affected by environmental degradation. He advocates for a new model of development that is sustainable and just for all, especially the poor. In conclusion, Pope Francis' advocacy for the poor and marginalized is a testament to his deep faith and commitment to the gospel. He reminds us that to follow Christ is to serve others, especially those who are most in need. His papacy challenges the Church and the world to look beyond material wealth and to build a society rooted in justice, compassion, and love for all people. Through his example, Pope Francis shows us that true greatness is found in serving the least among us.